nipples be cutting like glass out here. Wait, what? No, nipples are like
straight glass.
Like diamonds, son. Nipples
Like
be like
diamond?
diamond right now. It's cold. It's cold, man. I might have to get a jacket for our podcast outside because there's no respectable business that will let us do them inside.
What else, son? Look, I made that.
What is that? Oh, your what is that though? Twitter?
Facebook.
Oh, Facebook. You're making the Captain Save-A-Ho picture.
Yep.
Your profile pic.
Hey man, I didn't want all that money that you put into it to go to waste.
About time. I considered doing a pirate version of that, where like, what did I call you last time? Fucking pirate. I called you pirate something, and I thought it'd be like an opposite version of that, where your fucking boat will be all fucked up, and you'd be like in a pirate move. But I forgot to follow up with that chick. I wanted to get some more graphics done for the podcast, like maybe different versions of us on the speakers. But I haven't contacted the artist. So, fuck it. So what's going on, dog? What's going on with you?
Not too much.
Oh, did I tell you what happened to me this morning? I haven't told you yet. Check this out, all right? This morning, I was like on the north side of town.
Right.
And I was like, oh, dude, it's early still. I'm going to go, and I'm not going to say the name of the company, but I'm like, I'm going to go to that place where we go shooting.
Right.
Because I'm like, it's early enough where the 2 guns that I'm contemplating, I could test them out. It's early enough where they might not be rented, right? So I go, and the first thing I do is I walk in the place, and I go to the counter where all the guns are. And I'm like, all right, where is this one? Where is that one? And I'm like, all right, cool. They're both here. So I just start filling out the paperwork like we normally do, right? And the guy comes up to me. He's like, hey, what's going on, man? I was like, yeah, not much. And then he asked me, he's like, have you taken our class before? Like our I don't know what he calls it. I think it's like a gun course or some shit. And I was like, no. And he's like, oh, okay, but you need to do that in order to shoot in the range. And I was like, what are you talking about? Is that new? And he says, no, that's been here forever. He's like looking around asking somebody else. And I'm like, okay, I've shot here like 2 or 3 times already.
So we've been there like 3 times.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, no, you always have that. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And I'm like looking around, I'm like, I've been this one before, right? And I'm like, yeah. And then some chick and some guy come over and they're like, oh, did you come with somebody last time? And I was like, yeah. And they said, oh, well, when you come with somebody, you don't need to take that class. And I'm like, what?
The fuck?
And in hindsight, like I did go to the website and look it up, and it did say that on the website, right? But I'm trying to figure out what the logic is here. Like I was going to ask him, I'm like, what's your logic behind this? Like it doesn't make sense. I didn't want to fight it because once again, it's their business, their rules, however they want to run it is up to them, right? But how does that logic make sense? Like why would a secondary person be a requirement for renting the guns? I don't get it.
I guess because if there's 2 of you, they're like, oh, well, there's 2 of you, so you must know what you're doing. One of you brought the other one, so you know what you're doing.
So one of you. Yeah, no, I agree with you. Like, I guess that's the only point that would make sense. But it's not like they willy-nilly just give you guns and they're like, all right, go inside the room. Like, they ask us every single time, you've shot a gun before, right? You know how to do it. You know how to lock it. And you're like, yes. It's not the first time. And the reality is, like, if they're asking those same questions that anybody can just go, yeah, to, then why would the second person even be a big deal?
That I don't know.
It just doesn't make sense to me.
No, I mean, I do see their point because, like, I don't like loading the gun.
Gotta man the fuck up, son. If you're gonna own a gun, you gotta be able to load it yourself.
Like, I don't.
Intruder comes into your house and shit. You're like, hold up, son. Can you load this book for me so I could shoot you with it?
That's why in my house, I'm just that crazy person who has swords over their fireplace.
Yeah.
And they're like, so when robbers break in there, they're like, man, this dude's crazy. He got swords over his fireplace. He obviously uses them.
You're like, obviously he trains.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. But you know, I gotta respect their rules. It's their shooting range, so whatever. But I guess I'll have to take you with me or take somebody with me next time because it's
you should have been like,
freaking annoying.
Hold on, I'll be back. Then went to Walgreens and found one of those giant like stuffed animals or Costco. I've been like, here he is.
Like a giant
His
bear.
name is Bear Barrington.
He's working right
What's
now.
up?
He's in his work suit. Yeah, so I was pissed off about that because it was quite a drive for me to go up there, and it's just like, mother freaker.
Why didn't you just do it?
Do
The
what?
class.
Well, no, I think you got to sign up for it, and you got to go. Like, it's not like they do it right then and there.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought they did it right there. I thought they were like, all right, here's your gun.
Maybe I should have asked more details about the class. I don't think it's something where like, all right, let me move you to the side here, and then I teach you some things. No, I think it's like a formal class that you got to come back for and maybe pay a fee for. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make sense. So I'm like, whatever. I guess I'll come back. But damn well, sure, be aware that when I'm looking to purchase one of these 2 items, I'm not going to purchase them here.
I'm going to buy them from the streets like normal people do.
I'm going to have the serial numbers scraped off. I got a Dremel at home. I can figure it out.
I'm going to do it old school. I'm going to have a steel file and just
go
scratch
go
them
at
off.
it. Yeah, man.
Yeah, my dad said we could use his gun. Supposedly it shoots bullets.
You know what? That's the thing too. They said that if you bring your own gun, then you can rent other guns without. It's some dumb bullshit rules, dog.
What?
Yeah. So if you bring your own gun,
I can get more guns?
you can rent more guns
What the fuck
because
is this, Advanced Warfare?
I guess they assume that you are a gun owner. So therefore, you know how to use guns, so you don't need to go through the class of using guns. But once again, all of this is a lot of assuming.
That's a lot of assuming.
I'm like, what are you talking about? What is you talking about? I feel like I should talk to them like that. What is you talking about right now?
Battlefield 3, look, I got this suitcase full of guns so I can get more guns, right? Like, yeah, that's how it works.
Just doesn't make sense, man.
Somebody died in the subway.
I was pissed. I was pissed because I had to drive back. I'm like, you motherfuckers.
Somebody choked on the buffalo chicken.
Gross. I tell you, I found a piece of like cartilage in one of those right one time, right?
Yeah.
Gross. But anyways, that was my experience at said shooting range that I will not give any advertising to. I will go back to shoot those guns, but I will not be purchasing the guns from them. Honestly, their prices are a bit high. I've seen them online cheaper.
Man, but they had that old guy who was so cool with us.
Yeah, the old guy was pretty cool. I'm a little frustrated because I'm really leaning towards one of these 2, and I got to see what I'm better with and what feels better.
Yeah, I tried my dad's gun. He says he has a Luger.
A Luger? That's a good brand. It's a good brand.
And every time he says that to me, I picture the gun that
Lukenheim, the one from World War II and shit.
Yeah, no, the Red Skull has. I used to have a card because I used to collect Marvel cards back in the day.
The old school one.
The old school one.
The old school German looking one.
Yeah, the old school German looking one.
one.
Yeah, that one. And so I think of that one.
I remember that.
And so
that's a pretty famous gun.
Yeah, every time.
Those go for good money, by the way.
Every time he says that, I'm like, why do you have one of those? Like, you hunted Nazis and I didn't know about it?
Yeah, I'm surprised. But they're good for a good chunk of change. You saw what I just saw, right?
Yeah. Now I gotta go home and watch 4 hours of straight Gorongor porn.
So tell the people what we just saw.
I don't want to.
So this couple, they're kind of behind the glass so they can hear us. So this couple walked over here, which, by the way, I saw the girl, and I'm like, dude, you're not going to sit out here in this fucking blistering cold. If my nipples are hard, all right? Let me say it this way. If my nipples are hard in this cold weather, and I am a goddamn man.
Who lifts heavy, right?
Who lifts heavy, and dick game is questionably on higher levels. I don't get cold that often. You're going to be cold. Dude, this guy's ass bothering me. Okay, so they walk over, it's a couple, and they're eating this fucking place from next door, which now they're inside, which is, I hate that. Like, I hate that. I'm not going into some other establishment with some other company's product, food, and not purchasing anything from their establishment. But whatever.
Hey, man, maybe they're getting...
This guy's literally wearing female yoga pants.
They're so tight.
Female yoga pants. I can tell you that he's wearing underwear under his female yoga pants.
You might say, how do you know that, Ruben and Jonathan? Oh.
I can tell.
Oh, I can tell.
Yeah.
I can see him very clearly.
I'm thankful beyond anything that he didn't turn around. That would have been a problem.
Yeah, no, I'm going home tonight. Going home, just girl on girl scissor action.
Oh, by the way,
4
check out
hours.
that site I told you about. You can totally do what I told you about earlier.
Yeah, I'm gonna need all of it.
Yeah.
All of it.
I've been
Just all of it.
cataloging. But anyways, back to my point.
All right, it
Away
says
from
it's
that.
54 degrees out. This thing's fucking lying. I'm trying to update it because it's like 40-something degrees out here.
Yeah, no, we gotta legit bring a jacket, dude, because it is getting
It's
chilly.
not 54 degrees.
We literally went from like 90s to 60s. Like I think we have a high of nearly 70 this week. We went from 90s to nearly 70s, and this is why people are getting sick and shit.
Yeah, that's like a 50-degree temperature drop. Like my math's not good, but that's crazy.
Feels that way for sure. Like it seems like we were not getting any sort of winter this year, and then all of a sudden it's like,
okay.
and all of a sudden winter took out his gigantic phallic cock and just slipped it up and down your face. It's like, I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was not. It's brutal, man. It's crazy.
That's
This morning when I left to go do my paperwork and shit, it was
cold.
38, I think it said. And that was at my house, so I can't imagine how it was at your house. Was there like snowmen forming?
Almost.
White
Snow was starting to
walkers?
gather like the fucking mud guy from Batman.
Yeah.
Was it? What's the fucking
what's his name?
Clayface.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or White Walkers just like forming. Like, hey, what's up, guys?
See a White Walker in the corner with
Yeah.
like a dead horse, riding a dead horse. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, man.
He gives you that White Walker stare and just keeps walking.
Yeah. So.
Which, by the way, the other day, like I went to go climb the mountain, and Mom was like, "Hey, be careful, coyotes." Like, first of all, I've never even seen a coyote out there where I'm at, but she's like, "Be careful, coyotes," and I was like, because the mountains are right behind their house, and I was like, "I'll be fine." And she's like, "You sure you don't want to take like a taser with you?" I was like, "What do you think I'm fighting? Like some Warcraft creatures? Like, what are you talking about? What is you talking about?" Once again, back to that. What is you talking about? Because coyotes are nothing. Like coyotes are scavengers. They scavenge. They hunt little creatures. They're not fucking dire wolves.
Yeah, you can probably fight off a few.
I could fight off a few, dude, bro. I can fight off a herd of those motherfuckers.
Yeah, so you can probably fight off
punt one of those motherfuckers across the field.
Amount of coyotes.
Yeah, man. I'll get scratched, but it's gonna take a fuck ton of them.
You're gonna get scratched. You're gonna be fucked up.
I'm gonna need a rabies shot. How about that?
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong. You're gonna be fucked up.
But
it's just like when you see Ben Henderson, you could probably take him.
But
you're gonna be fucked up. But you're
real fucked up.
Yeah, you're gonna be real fucked up. Like you see inside his leg, he's gonna fuck you up. But you probably gonna walk away with it. You can walk away. You can walk away.
I don't know about Ben Henderson, but about some coyotes, I'll take some coyotes, dog.
Yeah.
I will do that shit that you see in video games where like one guy will pick up another guy and slam him. I'll pick up a coyote from his tail and just use him to beat up the other coyotes.
Yeah, you could do that.
I'll be fine. But if you're talking about wolves, then you're fucked. Because wolves are smart and they attack you like a pack.
Yeah, so there's not one. You see that scene in the first Jurassic Park where that dude's like, "I got you one."
Yeah.
No.
It doesn't work.
Nah, don't work that way, homie.
Nah. Wolves will fuck you up, but we don't have any wolves here. And that's like the biggest predator we have. We're not going to have mountain lions or anything. Can you imagine a fucking mountain lion? Oh, you'll die, a mountain lion. A mountain lion will play with you for about 20 minutes, keep you alive and shit, just to make sure the meat gets tenderized with your adrenaline.
Your blood running to everything once it tender.
Yeah, man. The adrenaline kicks in, gets all in the muscle tissue, makes it tender.
Are you the one who sent me that? Is that on Instagram? That guy was running. He's running through the hallway.
Yeah.
And then you're like, what is this dude running? He like kind of slides into like the wall, and then he just gets up running again.
Yeah.
And then you're like, what is he running from? And then all of a sudden, a fucking like leopard is like running and like jumps off the wall and is gonna come kill him.
Yeah.
And so that guy died.
So I'm trying to remember, like each animal has a specific thing you should and shouldn't do. Like with bears, you want to stand your ground.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I feel like with cats, though, you do want to get the fuck out the way. But I feel like cats, whenever you roll a ball with a cat, it goes after it. So running might be the opposite of what you want to do.
I think you're supposed to just not move.
Like, yeah, cats are creepy, man. Did you ever see that video of these people that were hiking this trail in California? And then they look up, and there's a fucking mountain lion up, and he's just looking at them.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, it's like scary eye contact when you see a predator, because we like to pretend like we're these badasses because we got like, technology or whatever. But when you get across an apex predator that is everything in his body is built to take down another creature and kill it, you're like, God damn, dude, my soft little pudgy hands are not going to do anything.
Not doing nothing, man.
Not doing anything. Like, when you compare our bodies to creatures, we're fucked. Like a deer. Dude, a deer's antlers will pierce through your fleshy little stomach. I don't care if you got abs of steel, all right?
Yeah, I was
it
gonna
will
say.
tear through your abs like butter on a hot knife on butter.
Yeah.
You got no... We're built so soft. Even if you had maybe gorilla strength, you'd be okay. But we don't even have that.
No.
I think people underestimate how strong monkeys and gorillas are. They're insanely strong. Like, uncomparably human strong.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
People don't understand that. So you got to watch some Discovery Channel when animals attack and shit.
Legit, you got to. Just like whenever people are like, those fucking vegans, they're always like, oh, if gorillas eat vegetables and they're that big, why can't we do that? I'm like, what? You're a gorilla all of a sudden? Since when are you a gorilla? Since when?
Well,
because gorillas can eat vegetables and literally jerk off their whole life, and they will still be that big. If you eat vegetables and jerk off all your life, you will literally be dead or look like a piece of shit dead person.
yeah, it's true.
Why did I say piece of shit there? Who knows? But you will look like
Just
death.
to really add to it.
You're not a gorilla, bro. I don't care how much you say. All right. A gorilla, you could train all your life to do one thing. Like let's say you train your whole life to deadlift. That gorilla's going to do it when it's like a teenager without training ever. Your biggest lift. He's going to be like, what? You're such a pussy. Here. He's just going to do it.
Yeah, he's going to do it with one hand probably.
Probably, yeah. This dude's got insane grip. That's why whenever you see those videos of gorillas coming at those enclosures and just hitting those plexiglass, that's terrifying to me. Because, first of all, I don't trust that plexiglass at all. At all. Dude, that fucking plexiglass better be like 7 inches thick. All right? It better be like a dick-sized
7 inches
yeah,
thick.
dog. I don't fuck with that. Once again, man, I think people are grossly underestimate how strong those motherfuckers are. I think a chimp can fuck up a grown-ass man.
Yeah, oh yeah,
A chimp, like, think of the most brolic dude you can think of. All right, the mountain. Okay, the mountain from fucking Game of Thrones. If you get an adult chimp with the mountain from Game of Thrones, I am putting my money on the chimp. And the Game of Thrones mountain is insanely strong. And he's not like a bodybuilder where he's got so much muscle on him where he's like slow and shitty. He's built well. He's got a lot of muscle on him, but he's really tall, so it doesn't like land. It's kind of like a Brock Lesnar where the muscle is distributed a lot more efficiently than a bodybuilder who's been like jacked all his life but just can't touch his toes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Dude, that chimp will fuck up the mountain. All right.
Yeah.
Like the chimp, first of all, is going to be way faster. The chimp is going to be way more aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
The chimp arguably might be as strong or stronger than him. And the chimp has a weird innate primalness to him where chimps go for vital organs right away.
Yeah,
they go
they
for
know.
your eyes. They go for your fucking balls. They try to rip away fingers, bite fingers. Like,
yeah, they go for stuff they can see.
I think people underestimate the animal kingdom. I think if you're a person that's going to like go deep into the forest, like those guys that go hunting, you better have a gun with you. Like, did you hear about Rogan had him on the podcast? He's a hunter, and they were hunting, and he has video of this, I guess, because he set it up or some shit. I can't remember, but the details escape me. But Rogan had him on the podcast, and he's a hunter, and I guess he set up a camera, and then I guess it turned out he was getting really close to a baby cub, a bear, and the mama was around, and he was like, fuck. And so he tried standing still, and he was going to like try to be as big as he can, but he had a handgun with him. And I guess weeks before, he was practicing on how to shoot it so he could quick draw out and shoot real quick from the hip. And he did really well. And then his buddy's like, oh, here, you try these bullets. And he gave him hollow points. So if you don't know anything about bullets, and if I'm saying this correctly, hollow points have like it looks like a regular bullet where it's a tip, but the front of it is chopped off. So the front of it is square instead of like sharp at the tip. And so he loaded the hollow points on that gun that he had with the bear. So he went to pull it out. He pulled it and it didn't work. And the reason it didn't work is because those hollow points, I guess the either the gun couldn't take the hollow points, or just the tolerances weren't machined properly, so that when the bullet laid in, the squareness caught on the bottom of the barrel. So it wasn't fully locked in the chamber. So it was kind of halfway in and out of the chamber. So the gun wasn't going to shoot. So I can't remember if he said he tried shooting it and it didn't work, or if he was like, the bear stopped and then went back. And he was like, oh, good, I don't have to use it. But long story short, I think ultimately he found out that the gun was jammed. And if he was counting on that gun for his life, he was fucked.
Dude,
Fucked.
man,
And he said there's nothing like hearing the sounds of that 1,000-pound animal, like scratching at the ground as it's coming at him with the ferocity. And he said like the way the fucking mane jiggled and you could see the musculature under the mane, he was like, it was terrifying. And I'm like, yeah, no, just your fucking story right now fucking terrified me. My balls are about an inch higher than they should be. My voice is higher than it normally is.
Yeah, man. That's Les Stroud on Survivor Man too. He says he's been out there and like he hasn't even seen predators, but just like giant elk and shit that like go through his camp. He says they're fucking huge. You like see them from far away and you're like, oh, that's so pretty, and up close you're like, this fucking huge animal. Like that thing could just go through my camp and kill me in my sleep. It'll just trample me.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I never understood how big those are and how big bison are. Bison are fucking massive. It's just like, dude, you're an insane creature.
Oh, man, we're so sheltered.
We're
just
for
sheltered.
sure. For sure, man. Maybe consider getting a bow, though.
Once the Anunnaki come, man.
We're back to the square one, right?
Once the Anunnaki come.
I was going to say something. Fucking forgot. But anyways, bison are fucking huge, too. Bison are
that was going to take me
massive.
to my next point, too. Yeah, he always says never take, like, if you're into that, if you go camping or you're one of those survival people like that, never take new stuff out into the field like that. Like, if you're, like, going, like, take new stuff out there, try it, but, like, also have the same, like, stuff that you normally take.
Stuff you've tried before?
Yeah, just in case, for that same reason, just like that.
Yeah, man, I don't fuck with animals. I mean, don't get me wrong, coyote, I'll fuck up a coyote.
Yeah,
like, if a fucking coyote tries to come at my dogs, dude, I will curb stomp that coyote. I don't give a fuck. But
then you don't have a new
pelt on my
dog. Yeah,
dude, that would be the most savage. The moment that happens, dude, one of these days you're gonna be going on your Instagram and you're gonna be like, oh, Jonathan posted something, and you're just gonna see like a fucking snake smashed, and I'm gonna be like, this fucker tried biting me. I literally grabbed it and lasso whipped its head on the fucking ground.
My dad, according to my dad, back when we used to live in the city, we used to come across all kinds of wild animals and shit.
Maybe because you were in a certain section where the back end of your yard was nobody resided in it, so maybe the creatures could pass through there. I could maybe see that.
Well, but you were very close to the back end too, where like all that dirt was.
Yeah. Well, we had dirt, but I never saw anything.
That's what I'm saying.
Like I was 2 houses in from that dirt, so maybe the houses that were further closest to it maybe had rats or some shit or bunnies or something. But it wasn't big enough. Yours had your house followed the freeway, so you had that whole section that has to separate the house from the freeway that nobody can live on because death. So, dude, remember that one time I was driving the golf balls in the backyard?
Oh man, tell him that story. I'll tell him real quick. So my dad, he still works in a warehouse, but they were clearing out warehouses, and so he's in charge of was basically the boss at this point. So his boss was like, oh, hey, we got a bunch of stuff in the office. You can have it.
Oh, really? I thought you just had it.
No. They gave him a whole bunch of shit. That's why we have so much shit. It's all stuff he took from over there. So they cleared out the warehouse area. So they went to the offices, and they started giving them shit. They're like, oh, here's these golf clubs. It's like these golf clubs are like, they were brand new at the time. I guess like the CEO left them. Because, CEOs, they're like white people, so they're like, I don't need them. So they left them there, and they're like, "Oh, hey, Ruben, you want this?" His name's Ruben too, not me, Ruben. He's Ruben too.
Your dad's name's Ruben. Yeah.
So they're like, "Oh, hey, Ruben, you want this?" He's like, "Sure, I love free shit." That's how he does. He takes whatever.
Yeah, your dad gave me towel for one of my house.
Yeah, he don't give a fuck. So
a lot of towel, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, so much towel.
So much towel.
He was giving it to random people. He met hobos. He's like, "You want some towel?" Like, yeah.
I should have taken more towel just to do the whole house over.
Dude, we probably could have done 7 houses with all the amount of tile.
I just can't believe that tile was sitting in that warehouse forever for no reason.
Yeah, it's crazy. So anyways, they gave him a bunch of golf clubs. They're like brand new. So we took him to our house, and like John was saying right now, we were I lived in back of a freeway, so it was a freeway. And it's a major freeway. It's not no like little podunk freeway in the middle of nowhere. It's a massive freeway.
Right.
It's major freeway. And so I'm not looking to my left. I called you over, and you're like, oh, all right. I'm like, hey, look at these golf clubs. And there happen to be balls in there, golf balls, and the little tees. So I'm like, doing like half swings like we see on TV all the time. And so I give them to you. You're like, let me try one. I'm like, sure. And so this dude just...
I do nothing half-assed.
Yeah, no. He just cocks back all the way, gives a full swing just over the freeway wall. There's like 2 walls, my wall and then like the freeway wall. He just cocks back, and it goes over both walls just into the freeway.
Allegedly.
He goes straight into there.
Allegedly.
Into the 8-lane freeway. Who knows where that landed?
Allegedly.
I'm sure in somebody's car.
Allegedly.
That's insane.
Yeah, that was allegedly a really crazy story. That allegedly happened. But
Statute of limitations.
Yeah. I don't think those are over yet. But that's allegedly a good story, dog.
That's why we can't have nice things.
Yeah, no shit. Oh, dude, tell them the story about that one time when we were little and your mom took us. We were little, dude. And remember your mom took us with her to go grocery shopping at Safeway or some shit?
Yeah. So my mom picked us up from school. Well, I think, your parents were home? Well, you were just tagging along with us.
I think I was just tagging along because you guys were like, oh, we're going to go to Safeway or some shit.
Yeah, we're somewhere. So we went to go... We're grocery shopping, and my mom was like, oh, I'm going to get this. You guys can fuck around here in the toys.
Yeah.
And we're like, yeah, that's what we're going to do. And so, they have those, like, cheap, like, plastic balls or something. So...
you seen them in Walmart.
Yeah, you see them. They're like...
bin of them.
Yeah, they're, like, multicolored or whatever. So we start throwing that around, and then we get into kicking it. And then...
It escalated quickly.
Yeah, it escalated. So we start going... We were, like, really close to each other. And then from there, we go like to one side of the aisle to the other end of the aisle. We're kicking it all along the way. And then I can't remember who, but one of us kicks it like super hard. And we kick it once again up. And as we're kicking it up on the top like shelf, there's a whole bunch of like little like plastic shopping carts. I think they're shopping carts, right? I think
so.
They're like plastic shopping carts, like play shopping carts. It was something. So the ball hits that. They come crashing down onto the next aisle, possibly onto people. I don't know. It was a lot of mess. It was a big mess. And it wasn't like 2. Yeah. It was a whole bunch of them.
Well, it was that overhead storage on top of on top of the lane. So it hit something and then just knocked it over.
It just knocked them all down.
And
it was a
like,
bunch.
We got to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
we just dipped.
We never went back there ever again.
We dipped. Dude, that was a lot of shit.
It wasn't a few things, guys. It was a whole bunch of shit. It knocked like those carts down, possibly like other toys down.
It's going to be like a podcast of fucked up stories. Remember that one time that you and I went shoe shopping? Because we do gay shit like that. And we went shoe shopping, and remember, like, I wanted a shoe that they didn't have the size on the bottom. So I was just like, oh, I'll get the one that's over here on the overhead storage. And you're like, do you want me to get an attendant? And I was like, nah, fuck that shit. I got this. So I go reach up there, and I pull on the tab, which pulls the box to the shoe. And then I yank it. But, of course, there's like 6 other shoes on top of that shoe. Yeah. And when I do that, it drops. I thought it was going to be like Tetris. It's just going to drop perfectly into the next row.
Yeah.
No, it didn't. It didn't at all. So when I pull it, they drop but don't land properly. So then it tilts over, falls over, and on the other lane was an employee, and the fucking boxes landed on his head. I felt bad for that one a little bit.
Yeah.
And he comes around, and he was just like, hey, if you guys need something from up there, let me know. And I was like, I think we're good after this. Don't worry.
Yeah. He was like, yeah, because whatever you guys did, it hit me in the head. I was like, oh, my bad, man.
I was like, hey, Daddy's crazy. I didn't see who did that. What are you talking about?
Hooligans, minorities, right?
Jeez.
Right.
Anyways, so anyway, that's fucked up stories for the week. That just shows how long I've known you. What's going on with you, dude?
Oh, man, did you see the Jurassic World trailer?
Nope.
You didn't see Jurassic World trailer? Dude, that goes in perfectly what we were talking about right now.
Nope. I haven't seen it. I heard about it. it takes me a while to hear from the trailer to decide whether or not I want to watch it, because my problem is that that's the initial trailer, which means there's going to be 19 other trailers that shows like 70% of that trailer into those trailers.
It might.
And I don't give a fuck, man. When a thing sends out a teaser and then another teaser and then Legos come out of it and then over here another teaser and then we got a special screening and then we got over here. It's like by the time you get to the movie, I'm over the movie.
Yeah.
That's what's happening with Star Wars with me. That's what's happening with Marvel with me. That's what's happening with like basically all these Disney properties. Like, how do you say that word?
Which one?
Disney.
Disney?
Disney?
Disney.
See, Disney. Why do I say it that way? I get corrected on that shit all the time. Disney. Disney?
ESL classes?
Disney?
Disney. Why are you saying it like that? Hanging out with white girls too much?
I've always said it that way,
Disney.
but I'm being corrected.
Disney.
Disney? Interesting. It's not spelled that way, by the way. Anyways, back to my point. Anything they own, I'm over already. Like, I definitely want to see them, but all these teaser trailers and all these additional trailers, I don't give a flying fuck about. Same thing with Dragon Ball Super. I love that series, but all these teasers and all the spoilers and all this shit just got me over it, man.
Man,
it's too much. It's too much.
I'm not even on that super tip. I'm on that Dragon Ball Z. Wait, Dragon Ball Kai, the final episodes tip.
I don't like Kai. They cut too much out.
Man, they don't cut enough out. I'm still waiting for the final one. I'm getting those one a week.
No, they cut too much shit out. Like they cut some stuff that makes sense. Like they cut PyCon out.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck them.
Not canon.
Fuck them.
The Negro in canon.
Fuck Kai. Kai can suck a dick. Wait, hold on. I can't say that out loud. Anyways. Ultimately, all I know is that like I don't like Kai because it cuts too much. PyCon, by the way, PyCon. I've thought about this a lot, and I'm gonna talk about this for 2 seconds because otherwise you guys are gonna tune out.
Like I thought about it at night. I wake up at night in the middle of the night
thinking about it.
Have
pour a coffee, think about it some more, and then go back to bed. I thought about this a bit. All right, I'm trying to rank the bad guys of Dragon Ball. And rank them like my favorite to the least favorite, right? And Frieza is slowly dropping to least favorite only because he is overused at this point. Mm-hmm. He's been around too long. I get it, Toriyama likes him, but he's been used too much. They make him like such a powerhouse with like he's been beaten. And there's something that happens, and you see it in MMA a lot. When a guy's been mentally broken, he's done. And I feel like when Frieza came back to Earth when he was a robot and Trunks destroyed him, like he was already kind of broken, but he had that whole like, oh yeah, I got my dad with me this time, bro. He's going to fuck you up. My dad's here, right? He had that shit going on. Oh, dude, these Z people are going to love this. Non-Z people, girls specifically, are going to be like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? Anyways, if I was not lazy, I would put a timestamp to where this is over, but I am. So when he came with his daddy and he's like, my daddy's going to fuck you up, right? When he did that, he was already kind of broken. But when Trunks comes over and then just gives him like a fuck you, it was over. He's mentally broken. And then to bring him back as such a big badass doesn't happen. You never see a guy who's been broken in the UFC, like mentally, come back as a resurgence and be a super badass. It doesn't happen. Once you're broken and your limit of your abilities has been matched, it's over. There is something psychologically that happens to the human brain. There's not a lot of people that can go from being broken mentally and losing and knowing that you will never achieve something to being able to let go of that and be like, no, I can't achieve this. Something that doesn't happen in the human brain. And some of you nerds are gonna be like, but he's an alien, right? Whatever. But anyways, Frieza's my least favorite. But Boo is in there too. But you got to ask me about which version of Boo, right? Like each version is very different. So I don't know about Boo. That's the one I got to deliberate on. Ultimately, though, when I look at Goku's greatest fights, Vegeta is up there too, his original one from the Saiyan saga, because he was such a difference, and Raditz was only like an appetizer of that. But it's still not like the coolest one until you get Saiyan transformations, right? Ultimately, I really, really, really like the Cell saga. That's probably one of my top ones because Cell was like the ultimate dude. Like the fact that he made an arena and posted up in it for 2 weeks waiting for somebody to challenge him is the hardest shit ever.
Yeah,
all right, that's like like the biggest, like it's like Stipe being like, I'm gonna fight in my town here. If Francis wants to fight me, he can come to my town, and he just waits there all week, standing there, like not even fazed by it, and then just still owns. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that was a badass shit to do. Plus, he had all of the abilities from most of the good abilities from the Z Fighters. He had the regenerative stuff. He was super intelligent. He was super competitive. Honestly, Cell could be one of those that they could have brought back for the current series, and it would have worked out because he never had the intention of ruling the universe.
No,
he had Goku's
the same
mindset
yeah.
of wanting to be the best. That's why I like Cell. But and Goku didn't beat him, so it doesn't make it a crazy fight. But the fact that Gohan beat him does make it a good fight. But I still think the Pikkon fight is legit. The fucking Pikkon thing where he throws a little fire at you, you're like, what the fuck? This is like some boss level shit where you gotta check his or memorize his movements. You know what I mean? Like every boss in every video game has like a pattern, and you gotta find the pattern. Like that was the Pikkon shit where you're just like, all right, he does this and this, so I'm gonna teleport behind him and fucking blow him out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I still like Pikkon, and the fact that he's not canon is bullshit, and they should make him canon because it will legitimize how Goku went 3. That's the only way it makes sense, because if they don't, this is what you really got to think about. See, I'm nerding out about this. This is what you got to think about. The fact that he came back to Earth, all of a sudden went 2. He had never gone 2. He goes 2 against Vegeta. Because if you remember, Vegeta goes 2 and Goku's like, oh shit, you've ascended. And he's like, yeah, bro, I've been training. Your lazy ass has been dead. I've been training and I got to 2. I'm stronger than your bitch ass son. Right? Vegeta thinks he's a badass. He goes 2 all of a sudden and he's like, oh, so you've been holding back. And he's like, yeah, I guess. Technically, he could have gone to 3. He just didn't want to lose his time on Earth. It's some nerd shit, by the way. Long story short, the only thing that legitimizes that is the fact that he would have been training hard as fuck up there to become 3.
In Kai, he does mention, he goes, somebody, I forget who, Piccolo or somebody, goes, oh, you can do that? And he goes, yeah. He goes, I can. He goes, but I've only ever done it on King Kai's planet.
I know it's not canon, so I know Pikkon's not canon, but what I'm saying is this would tie in well how he managed to break so many levels. Because he died on Earth 1, Super Saiyan 1, not being able to go 2 to beat Cell. Otherwise, Gohan beat him easily.
Yeah.
If you think about it, Gohan beat Cell easily with Super Saiyan 2 with 1 arm.
Yeah.
If he would have had 2 arms, he would have just skull fucked him and just been like, I'll see you later. I'll see you later, bro. Heal up and talk to me later. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you had both arms, it would have been way better. People are like, are you fucking serious right now? This is my life, bro. So ultimately, my point is that they should legitimize Pikkon because this would legitimize how he traversed 3 levels almost in such a small time.
Yeah.
Like he went from busting nuts in Chi-Chi, having Goten, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he's going 3 levels. When back in Dragon Ball, he was struggling with like Robot Man.
Yeah.
But he's able to now go to supreme levels which by the way, when I need to get off this topic. Which by the way, when he turns Super Saiyan 3 in Kai in any other version, it's like the earth goes black, the freaking universe sinks in.
No, that's what it does.
Clouds come
yeah,
in.
it's a little ridiculous.
It's an insanely ridiculous transformation, right? But once it legitimizes the fact that it takes so much energy to turn 3, right?
Yeah.
But then afterwards, that never happens again. Like, it's just like, whatever. Like,
because I think he's struggling so much to get there.
Maybe.
After that, it's like, I can do it.
But doesn't somebody say, like, oh, he's going to destroy the planet when he's transforming?
Well, everybody's like, oh my God, he's going to blow up the world.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm just like, dude, what was my point to this? Long story short, they need to do something that traverses that power level
it's
increase.
Like when it's like, see, the first time he went Super Saiyan 3, it was so hard to get there. It's like the first time when you bust a nut. It's like, oh, man, I'm fainting. I smell chlorine.
Oh, get lightheaded.
You're like, lightheaded. Oh, no. Where does this come from?
How did I through walls?
Yeah, how did I produce this? What is this? What is this spider web? But then after that, you're like, oh, I can do this whenever.
I do this easily every time. I guess. I mean, that's... All I'm saying is that Pikkon needs to be a thing, and I think he's on one of my top levels.
Also, while we're here, last thing I'm going to talk about it. Really, really, Hercule / Mr. Satan, save the world because he made friends with Majin Buu. So I don't want to be that guy, but I just watched episodes where he saved everybody single-handedly with no fighting. So he's savior of the world.
I agree, but if you really think about it, Fat Buu, I'm not fat shaming here. His name is Fat Buu.
No, his name is Fat Buu.
Fat Buu played stereotypically what, with lack of a better word, and I hope that nobody gets insulted by this, plays what like the retard did in movies of the Elden times. Like there was always that stereotypical character where he was misunderstood, he was really strong, but he was really a gentle heart. Yeah. Like you never saw did you ever see the Goonies?
I did.
So remember that lack of a better word, like the retarded guy who was a gentle guy, he was a really nice guy. But he was just misunderstood because people didn't want to take the time to get to know him because he looked differently. Mm-hmm. But he was a gentle heart, and that's why when Chunk befriended him, he really did make a good friend and a good asset. And to prove that, that's when Boo meets that kid who's blind and doesn't know that he's who he is or what he's doing, and because of that he can see past him and really get to know him. And Boo fixes his blindness, which is a crazy touching moment. And that's kind of what the dog was for Boo. Like the dog saw him despite of what it was and how destructive he was. He was kind of like a child, and he was childlike in his development and wasn't treated like a normal person. So that's what the problem is. So when Hercule befriended him, that was tremendous. Like I even felt bad when those guys like shot the dog.
Yeah, that was I didn't remember that. That just happened. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, when he shot that dog, I was like, oh y'all,
dude, I flipped over a fucking table. Yeah, because I was literally working on some perla bead thing. I flipped the fuck. I was like, what the fuck is this? What is my fucking life? Yeah. I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah, when he killed that dog, I was like, those dudes are fucked.
Yeah, no, I thought...
Didn't Hercule say, too? He was like, you guys better get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, he was like, I'm going to come out. And, Hercule actually beat up...
a couple of the guys.
Yeah, both guys.
Yeah, it was nice. It was a good, touching thing to be able to see that, like, he was able to revive the dog. That was kind of cool. Because I think a lot of people were like, what? Because it's really weird how attached you get to things. Like, especially like a fake character, like a legend.
Yeah, no, that's really good writing there. That whole Hercule...
We personify things oddly, though. Like, I was watching a documentary on wolves, and you watch this pack of wolves and you follow them, right? Mm-hmm. And when one of them or their pack gets attacked, you're like, no, they're going to kill the wolf, right? But if you had followed the other pack of wolves and you would, associated with them, you'd be like, kill that motherfucker. Kill him. Attacking your area. He was getting into your spot. That's your hunting ground. You kill that dude.
That's interesting. I wonder if you say the same if you, like on Game of Thrones, like, you follow Jon Snow and all those guys. Yeah. So if you would have followed, no, not Cersei. Nobody gives a fuck about her. What's his name? Ramsay Bolton.
Oh, that's a hard one because that dude is twisted.
See, now if you would have followed him and his family,
I don't think so. I think when you can't connect to somebody and their motives, it's hard because that guy was twisted and he was doing twisted shit. Now, a better example would be like Ramsay Bolton. Not Ramsay. No, who was the other brother? The other Bolton. Not the other Bolton. The other. The guy that the red chick thought was the Lord of Light.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Fucking,
what's his name?
What was his family? The Baratheons?
Baratheons, yes.
The oldest Baratheon. If you would have followed him from his side, you would have been like, oh, that's my boy. I'm going to follow him forward, right? But I Game of Thrones to me is the good personification of that mindset because you do follow everybody. And I think the most powerful storytelling is when you can sit down and associate and empathize with each character. And because the way it's written and the way it's filmed, that it gives you each of their perspective, you get a different understanding of where they come from. That's why although people don't like Cersei, they understand where Cersei comes from. They understand that her priorities are her family and the twisted shit she grew up with that made her not respected as a woman, but yet she had the drive of a man. Like, you understand some of these things, and it does give you a good perspective of people and that there are reasons why people are the way they are, right? Mm-hmm. Like, there's that theory that Hitler, who is arguably one of the worst humans ever known, right, for his actions, that if you were a baby exposed to the same things, because some of it's nurture and nature, right? So if you were a baby exposed to the things he was exposed to, raised the way he was raised, and had all the same experiences he did, but maybe you lived on the other side of the world, you would do the exact same shit he would. And some of that is kind of interesting because it simplifies the situation and maybe gives us better understanding of each other if we knew what the circumstances were.
Yep. But say another good version of that is example of that is first 4 seasons of Sons of Anarchy.
Sons of Anarchy is still fucking a good show, man.
The first 4, man.
I started thinking about it again. It's a really good show.
The way they do everything is so good. And I'll even give you some parts of the 5th season are really good too. Some of the acting in the 5th season is pretty good.
Yeah, that's a really good show. Like, there's a few shows that I highly recommend to anybody, as long as you're into the genre. Like Fringe, still recommend it. Sons of Anarchy are good, except like I give that little asterisk of the last few seasons. What else? Game of Thrones, I still recommend. I like that show.
I always love Justified, but I know not everybody's into that. But acting's on point on Justified.
No, Justified. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. The acting's on point. I don't think I'd recommend it to everybody though, because you have to like certain genres. Like if you don't like sci-fi, I'm not going to tell you to watch Star Trek.
Yeah.
You know, and if you don't like that, like Southern kind of people, small village kind of.
Yeah, it's a little
undereducated kind of people. Like
yeah, and then you
might not get into it.
I would say Justified too. You said you like had it on in the background. That one you can't really have on in the background.
Which one?
Justified.
I had it in the background. I liked it, but I wouldn't recommend it to everybody.
I'd say you gotta that's one you gotta watch, kind of like Fringe. You gotta watch it like 2 or 3 times, and then you gotta be like, oh, I didn't catch that, or you see connections.
I think I did. I just missed some stuff because for a long time I thought Boyd was his brother.
Yeah,
because like I was tiling while I was doing it. You know what I mean? So yeah, you're right. But there are certain series that are really good. Like certain ones where I'm like, these are 5 stars, and I don't ever give perfect ratings to shit. But like, there's certain seasons or shows that I'm like, dude, you gotta fucking watch it. But if you're not into the genre, I can't recommend it. Like, if you're not into drugs, I would never recommend like Breaking Bad. Or like, if you're not into drugs, I wouldn't recommend like watching those famous mobster movies, like the Goodfellas and the whatever. You know what I'm saying?
So you watch The Shield. The Shield's really good.
I haven't seen that. I told you about Mr. Robot.
Yeah.
I like it, but you got to be into that genre. It's like very psychedelic, very like
Fight Club-ish.
It's very. If you got anxiety issues, do not watch that show because the way it's
kinds of anxieties.
The way it's filmed, like you get anxiety. You get like a lot of jump cuts, a lot of disoriented jump cuts. Like YouTube does jump cuts where you're like bam, 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 new thing every 10 seconds. But because of the way it's progressing, like this guy is going to downtown, and so you're like bam, 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 shot up to downtown, and you're like, all right, cool, we're downtown now. But that one's disoriented where it's like a shot here and then there's a completely different shot over here, and you're like, is this the same timeline? Is it? And there's sometimes where they're in the past, and there's sometimes where they're telling a story about the future. So you there's a lot of disoriented things about that show that I wouldn't recommend if you've got anxiety, because it does kind of jumble things up in your head. And it's the thing about that show that's genius is that they do a great job in the way they film it to give you the ideas of how that dude's mind works. And so that's also what could give you anxiety. But it's a good show. There's 3 seasons. I think Amazon Prime has the first 2, and I will say it again, man. That fucking that twist in like season 2, episode 8, fucking got me. It got me, dude. I was almost flipping tables and shit. I was like, you motherfuckers, that's crazy. You motherfuckers got me. It was crazy. It's a crazy twist. But anyways, what else you got going on, man?
That's pretty much it, man. My week was crazy. Not too crazy.
Did you hear about what happened to that porn star?
No.
So I don't know this girl's name, and I'm going to butcher it, I'm sure, the story. I'll butcher it slightly. But there's that girl. She's a porn star, right? She apparently writes on her Twitter talking about how she was going to do this sex scene with 2 guys.
Right.
And
it's normal. She
was like, hey, if you're going to be doing this sex scene, just know that I turned it down because the guys that were doing it had experiences of doing gay porn. And I'm not okay with that. Right?
Okay.
And so I'll finish the story before I give you my thoughts on it. So she was like very vocal, and apparently a whole bunch of porn people too were like, dude, what the fuck? We all get tested all the time. We all go through the same test. We make sure we're clear. And I guess she got a lot of backlash, right? And then I guess days later or some shit, people find out that she committed suicide because of this backlash. Yeah, because of this backlash. And so then, you know, some people apologized, some people felt bad or whatever. And it's a weird situation, right? Because people are very quick nowadays to judge somebody based on like maybe any discriminations. Mm-hmm. But this is something that you and I had discussed about, and you almost had like similar mindsets. And let me explain what I mean by that before you get defensive. I had told you before, I'm like, oh, I have never dated this type of person, nationality-wise or sex-wise. No, well, sex, I've never dated dudes for sure, but I've never dated like this nationality. And you're like, or no, I said, I'm not usually like into these girls, right? And you were like, damn, son, why you gotta be discriminatory for? Like, why you gotta hate? And it's not about hating when I'm being prejudiced against certain people. It's just like I've never dated anybody of that nationality for no reason at all. I just haven't. And I don't think you're being discriminatory when you choose not to be attracted to somebody, because honestly, you're not choosing to be attracted to somebody, right? You have the right to choose what you should or shouldn't date or want to date, at least in a country like this where you have options and you have freedoms. And then I think about this story and I think like, okay, maybe, I don't know if it comes from a discrimination point, or if it comes from like a prejudice point, or if it comes from just like, look, man, let's face it, these people are having sex for a living. You shouldn't have to have sex with somebody if you don't want to.
That was going to be my point. They're having sex on film.
Right.
That's already, here in America, it's already very taboo already.
Yeah, that's why we don't get guests on this podcast, because of the shit we talk about.
Yeah, and so, like, that's already taboo enough. And so she's doing that job. And admit it, people can admit it or they don't have to admit it, but that's a very in-demand job. People want it. Like, people want to see that stuff. So, and that's just not with her job. That's for anybody's job. If she doesn't want to do it, she shouldn't have to do it. Like, what is this, slave time? We in 1880s England? Like,
did you hear about that, by the way?
This?
About fucking that video that somebody posted about the slave auction?
Where?
I'll have to get details. But anyway,
Alabama?
Go ahead.
But,
no, not in the U.S.
Oh, okay.
Disturbing, though.
But, yeah, like, she shouldn't have to do that.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think she should have to. If a woman... Look, we live in a country where, as a woman, if you don't want to do something, you shouldn't have to. In fact, I got a story to tell you about Mystery Girl, by the way.
And that... Just not for a woman. That goes for a man, too. If you don't want to do something, you shouldn't have to do it.
Right. And so I kind of feel bad because social justice warriors are very quick to come in and be like, oh, you're wrong for saying that. But if she doesn't want to do something with her body, she shouldn't have to. And I felt bad that, you know, she committed suicide despite of whatever she said. But that sucks, and it's sad because, like, the society we live in, like, you can't really sometimes have an opinion unless you don't give a fuck like me. I give no fucks. But that's why I have a podcast that I talk about horrible shit. But it just sucks that, like, that got to that level where she felt the need to commit suicide because of what she felt and not wanting to do something with her body.
Yeah, like, I don't know who you guys, like, who those people thought they are to tell her that. Like, that's
and a lot of them were, like, I guess, porn people, too.
Well, I mean, how would they like if they said, oh, you got to get a train ran on you by, like, this football team? Like, is that, you just going to be like, oh, okay.
It's dark, man. It's dark.
Like, everybody's like, oh, yeah, it's fine. I'll do whatever until it's you. And then it's a problem.
It's, to me, the equivalent version would be like, let's say you're a girl and you're like, all right, I'm going to do this scene with this guy, right? And all of a sudden, like, the guy starts doing really fucked up things that you agreed not to do. Like, in the middle of the taping, like, let's say you were like, all right, we're just going to do regular sex, right? And he's like, all right, but no anal, no, none of this crazy shit. And he's like, all right. And then all of a sudden, the dude just starts doing it on tape. Like, there's a very, very thin but noticeable line there, for sure. And you're you should get in trouble if you're not if you were clear about the situation.
And that goes for a dude in that same situation. Let's say you're doing it, you already have, like, it planned out with the girl, and you're just like going to town, and then for some reason, like she sticks her finger up your butt or some weird shit.
You know what's really funny is like there is a double standard with sexual harassment when it comes to dudes. Like I'm thinking as you're saying that, I'm like, what would be uncomfortable for a guy to let a girl do?
Whatever doesn't make him feel uncomfortable. That's
right.
Why.
No, I agree with you. But there is a double standard where most guys are gonna be like, I don't give a fuck. I'm still getting this. You know what I mean? It's a dumb double standard, but there is a dumb double standard.
It's there, and it's just crazy that like people are like, oh yeah, whatever,
Dude,
it's fine.
By the way, on a total side note, like because of the weather changing, it feels like we're out here at 3 a.m.
Dude, I'm almost certain it's 4 o'clock in the morning.
It's like the sun's about to come up.
Yeah, we're gonna go to Dunkin' Donuts and just wait for the
These
fresh.
people haven't left yet, so I know they haven't.
Yeah, it's because it's too cold out here. They don't want to be out here.
But anyways, yeah, that was a crazy story I heard about earlier in the week. But to change the subject, like the sex, or not the sex, the slavery video, that was disturbing. I gotta get more details because I can't remember where, but it was somebody that filmed like slave sales with their phone. Jeez. And they were like talking like about, hey, oh, this guy can work hard and this guy lifts heavy stuff. It's just like, ooh, like just because we're so disconnected.
Is it in Africa? That, probably in Africa somewhere.
I don't know, to be honest with you. I gotta look, but it's so disturbing to hear stuff like that because like as Americans, like we had a war over this shit, and we almost assume, and I know it's bad to assume, but you almost assume that that's gone throughout the world. Yeah. But apparently it's not.
Yeah, no, you better be thankful that you can actually say fuck Trump.
Well, and
nobody comes after you.
Right. That's actually what Francis Cigano was talking.
Yeah.
Francis Nagano.
I always say Zagano, but I don't think that's right.
No, it's Nagano. Nagano. Well, anyways, that's what he was talking about as post-fight speech.
I thought that's what he was talking about.
That video is actually what he was talking about. So it's crazy, man.
Yeah, I thought that's what he was talking about. I kind of thought that's what you were talking about too, because I saw something on it. Mm-hmm. But like I was just in the background, so I didn't get any details on it. But I was like, you know, you kind of see a slavery video in the background. You pretty much know when you saw a slavery cell video. Like it's just, you saw it.
Yeah. Disturbing, man. It is disturbing for sure.
Yeah. So be happy you got first world problems.
Yeah. No.
You're kidding. Like, oh, I can't pay the electricity bill. That's fucking cute. That's real fucking cute.
I honestly think that sometimes travel is really good for that. When you go somewhere else and especially at places like a third world country or a place where you don't have the same freedoms that we have here, you grow a bit because you have experiences from another place and realize what reality is and the things you take for granted here. Like I think Ari talked about that a lot when he went to China, and like the conditions and the people and the poverty levels and the lack of rights of certain things are very apparent in other countries. And also because you're an outsider, you also don't realize that you got to stay real quiet because you don't have a voice there. Turbo, I heard turbo.
Yeah.
I didn't see what that was. Anyways, you see that a lot in other countries, and when you come back, it does help you grow a bit. It does help you understand like what really the world is. And I think sometimes when you see those differences, it helps you appreciate what you have and like what you really have here. I guess that's the best way of ending that. But I think ultimately, that's what's good. The only thing that disappoints me is that we live in a system here where we work so hard and have so little time off. Mm-hmm. I think Sweden's got a really sweet deal where I think they have like a month off a year from work. I think here having our 2 weeks off, if you're lucky, like it's a fuck situation, man, because that 2 weeks is probably like a good unwinding time. Like if you have a solid 2 weeks where you could take somewhere, but if you had like a month to travel somewhere just for fun and then travel for unwinding or whatever, if you broke it down in 2 weeks, like that would help better you in different ways than just like overworking yourself all fucking year for 2 weeks off a year.
Yeah.
And then barely having like unwinding in those 2 weeks. Like, especially if you go somewhere far and you got like a day or two of travel, fuck. Then you're already 4 days into your vacation and just travel.
Yeah. One of the girls I used to work with now, she just came back from a cruise. She went to Morocco, I think.
Wow.
And somewhere else in London or somewhere. Are those places?
A cruise?
Yeah, are those places by each other?
No.
I don't know, man.
Something
like
I gotta
that.
look where Morocco is.
Somewhere like that.
Thinking. Are we getting shot here? Or what?
No.
Okay. Anyways.
But yeah, so she came back, and me and my sister want to go on the cruise too. That one cruise I was telling you about. But we saw this thing on the Weather Channel where they were talking about motion sickness on boats, on big ocean liners like that. Mm-hmm. Apparently, people still get motion sickness on there.
I thought they didn't on big ones because they're displacing so much water, and I think they also have some shit built into it, so it helps the swaying.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. That's not true.
I think if you're pretty sensitive, maybe, and that's why, like, if you're worried, you're probably better off taking a real small cruise somewhere before you take a giant fucking 14-day cruise. Because if you're, I mean, well, they do have those pills, but I don't know how well they work.
Yeah, my parents said they're gonna go on one, so we'll see how that works. But yeah, they've like, oh yeah, no, it doesn't. You still get affected by it. So I was like, all right,
a cruise would be fun, but
maybe.
I don't know. Damn, son, we had a fucking legitimate adult podcast today. We didn't talk about no fucked up shit that I'm sure half of y'all are like, what the fuck? You were supposed to tell us a story about how your dick didn't work. Tease that last week. I have to tell it to you guys next week.
Next week, we're at time already, guys.
We're out of time. It's been an hour.
Most adult podcast you'll ever hear.
Yeah, no kidding. We actually had some adult conversations.
Well, there you go, guys.
All right, ladies and gents, you know that the spiel. Links for social media, websites, everything's down below. Hit that like, share with people. That way we get more supported. And see you guys next Monday.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.